What's up, bro?
It's cracking, man.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
All is well. Shout out to Jesse Lee Peterson.
Beta.
I'm gonna pour us up,
Hell yeah,
dude.
But what's on the I was about to say Twitter sphere, but I don't think it's Twitter related. But what's new?
Dude, so much has been happening these past couple days. I don't even know where to start.
That's very true.
Did you see that fucking that video of AOC at the
Met Gala?
There you go, at the Met Gala.
Yeah, I seen the people covering that shit.
What do you think about that?
I don't know. Like, honestly, I feel like the people that are bashing her are probably bashing her for the wrong reasons. Like, they want to go ahead and say, oh, you're talking about taxing the rich, but you're at some spot that charges you, supposedly they charge you like up to $30,000 a ticket.
I heard.
And that to even get a table, which they say she did, is like upwards to like 60 to get a table. That's what they say. Honestly, I don't really see an issue of her going over there. I mean, but the only thing that I think she could have done better is wearing that dress. One, it's fucking hideous. Two, I feel like you didn't really get your point across to anybody. Because the people that attended that are rich, yeah, but they're not the 1% that she keeps talking about she wants to tax. The 1% is Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, all those other billionaires that are out there. And her message didn't get to them. I mean, they probably did now through news media coverage and whatnot, and all other people posting all kinds of videos. But I feel like she probably thought, I'm not speaking for her, but I'm assuming she probably thought that, oh, if I wear this dress, it's gonna be in the faces of those 1%ers, and they're gonna see it, and they're gonna be like, eh.
Right.
I feel like that's what it was. I honestly have no issue with it. You know, I think it's a good idea. She wants to bring that message out. Do I agree with that message? Not at all. Because if some people stop to think, when have you heard of a rich person saying, I don't want to pay taxes? They want to pay taxes. Why? Because then that means businesses that are growing won't be able to pay those exorbitant taxes, meaning they won't be able to become competition to those billionaires are already up there. So they'd be happy with, hey, you want to tax me 70%? I'm not saying they're going to say that, but they're going to be like, go for it, man. Because you know what? The dude that's starting his business, a furniture business, he's not going to be able to compete with me because he won't never be able to pay my taxes. Meaning he's going to have to stay all the way at the bottom, or eventually he's going to sell. So I feel like she probably had good intentions, but I think she could have handled it better. That's my thought.
Right.
What do you think?
I don't really like her politics. I don't really like her ultimate goal, which is, they call it democratic socialism, but come on, you know, that's a mask, in my opinion, for socialism.
I agree.
Or using other people's wealth for your shitty ideas.
I agree.
That being said, though, I was watching video after video of people that I tend to like rock with, or I tend to like, you know, I've come to like, I don't care if they're accused of being right wingers or far right, all this stuff. Like, I like Ben Shapiro stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes I disagree with, you know, I'm just like, cool guy. Tim Pool too. I watch video after video and they're bashing her, which I get, you know, they're not fond of her ideas. But I was like, if that was her strategy, it worked.
Yeah, because it got attention.
It got attention. And she did it around rich people. Like you said, I don't think anybody there was like well, actually, Rihanna's a billionaire.
She is?
Yeah. I think.
From what?
From her Fenty beauty line or something like that. She has like multiple businesses now. But so she's actually like up there in the 1% of the 1% or something like that.
She's probably like, man, fuck you, AOC.
Right, but my whole point is, what doesn't make sense to me is like, okay, let's say it's an idea that I don't even agree with, like a political, like, dude, we won't see eye to eye on this, but I'm not gonna concern troll and be like, oh, I'm totally cool with, you having your right to protest. Just go do it like in a dark room with no people to where no one can see.
Yeah.
Then how will that protest make a difference? How will they get people's attention to be like, for example, if people were to protest peacefully for, they're tired of seeing voter fraud for whatever election, whatever candidates, whatever. They're like, dude, we got evidence in video form, in physical form, all these people giving their testimonies. Like, we need to protest. But imagine I'm opposed to that and like, well, yeah, I'm totally, support of protesting. And they're like, all right, cool. Will you come? Well, no, I won't come because I don't have to. It's my freedom to not go.
Yeah, I don't gotta do shit.
And then I'm like, all right, cool. And by the way, I think you guys should protest at home. Close the fucking curtains. Close the door. Don't record yourself in a dark in a dark room just amongst yourselves, and that's it. And walk out, and you never speak about it again.
Yeah.
Then they'll be like, well, how do you expect us to stand up and make a change that we believe in, right?
Yeah, exactly.
My support for any protest ends when you start fucking doing like what people were allowed to do last year.
Yeah, whether you start rioting and
destroy
fucking shit up.
Yeah, like just
I agree.
Like whatever the case is, you lose my, even good wishes mentally like that once you start doing shit like that, because that's borderline terrorism.
No, I agree with that.
But when it came to her, I was like, dude, I can't believe I'm disagreeing with Tim Pool, fucking Ben Shapiro, but I did. I was like, she did what she set out to do. She did it amongst rich people. It's just that it's politics they don't agree with, I don't agree with, and that's really all I think of when it comes to that.
I think what it was also that people wanted to bitch about was the fact that they were under the assumption, it hasn't been confirmed or denied, except by her, that it's like, if you're talking about taxing the rich, why would you spend $35,000 or $30,000 on a ticket when you could have easily put that same dress on and just stand in the front and let people take pictures of you there? Why did you have to walk that red carpet or whatever the fuck the color carpet is and pay when instead you, who is a proponent of equality and distribution of wealth, why didn't you donate those $35,000 instead? And same thing with the dress. Like, she never said that the designer gave her the dress. People are I'm not under the assumption. I think she probably gave it to her. I probably think she didn't even give it to her. She probably let her borrow. Like, hey, I want you to model it, and
it'll bring me business.
And you come back. Although it's not business, as Vosh said, and I agree with Vosh, which is astounding.
Shout out to Vosh.
Shout out to Vosh, you fucking Decepticon. But I agree with you there. It was an ugly ass fucking dress. He said it perfectly. He goes, bro, it looks like they just sloppily wrote the back of it and ripped off Chick-Fil-A.
Dude, that is true. It is ugly. Now that I think about it, it is ugly.
It's a Chick-Fil-A font, bro.
I hate the fact that I had to fucking like, what the fuck does it say?
And like, he goes, and I love how Vosh said, he goes, and before you guys start, I don't care if she's an immigrant. I don't care if she came from nothing and made something of herself and worked for whatever business she worked for until she owned her own dress designing business. I'm still gonna admit the fact it's one fucking ugly dress.
Yeah. Stand on your principle.
But I think that's what people are under the assumption on. They're under the assumption of that. I feel like that's why they're bashing her, because they're saying like, you're a big proponent of distribution of wealth, of democratic socialism. Why didn't you donate that money instead?
Right.
Why didn't you put on that same dress, stand in the front where people can still see you? Obviously, you're not allowed to walk that fucking carpet with all the celebrities, but you can still be in the front. Have people like scream and shout like, hey, take a picture of my shit real quick, and people would have noticed you because you're AOC.
Right.
But no, instead you spent $30,000 and probably $60,000 because you were at a table. They say it's confirmed that she was at a table. I don't know. I'm not sure. But people swear that it's confirmed that she actually sat at one of the tables that go up to $60,000 for a seat.
Yeah, and it could be that she paid all that.
It could be. Dude, you know how much she gets paid?
I heard that it's like 150 grand.
I heard it was like 180.
180 grand. Well, it's a prestigious thing to be on the... What the fuck is she, like a congresswoman?
A congresswoman. But don't you think the Congress... I'm not saying for her, but I think for all congressmen. Don't you think they get overpaid?
Again, this is my...
It's not
opinion.
It's not something you need a degree in to become a congressman.
No, it's not.
You don't.
No, it's not.
It's not. There's many congresspeople out there that have come from different backgrounds who have come straight out of serving the military,
Right.
who have come out of being part of a union. Just like AOC, she was a bartender and then she became a fucking congresswoman, you know? She had no background in any type of holding any type of government office like other people in Congress.
Are you saying she's a plant by the deep state?
I think she's a plant by the deep state. They watered her, and once she got nice and healthy enough, they said, all right, you're ready to get into a bigger pot.
They scooted her. They took her out of her little pot.
Yep.
And put her.
And they put her in a planner.
She's like fucking Groot.
Yep. But instead of saying I am Groot, she goes, I am AOC.
Cheers to that, man. But hold on. But I will say that I heard that, you know, her pay rate range is like 180, 150, or maybe up to 200 grand.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think they're overpaid. Is my uninformed opinion, because I don't know the inner workings, like the logistics of being a fucking congresswoman. Like how much comes out of their pocket, you know? She got shitted on for owning a Tesla a while back.
Why wouldn't she?
Get shitted on or own it?
Yeah, why wouldn't she fucking get shit on for owning it?
Well, that's where I gotta ask. Not to you directly, but if you know, since you said she should be shitted on for the Tesla.
Yeah. How is that relatable to the people she wants to represent?
Yeah, but it's like, let's say she stands up for homelessness, right? She wants to see some change in that.
Yeah.
Do you want her to go be homeless so you could be like, oh, you see, I respect it?
No.
You're homeless.
No. But I mean, don't fake the funk either. Don't act like you are a part of us when you're not. You live in a luxury apartment. You drive a nice ass car that I can't afford. I can't afford a Tesla. Not at all. I won't be able to fucking pay off $800 fucking dollars a month for a fucking Tesla, because I don't make $180,000 or $150,000 to be able to drop in $20,000 down payment. You know, I mean, she fills her mouth with that, saying that, oh, she's with the people, she's relatable to the people, she's a part of it. And it's like, if that's true, why aren't you living amongst your people? Why aren't you actually being a part of that community? You're only doing when it's beneficial to you. And she's not the only one that's guilty of this. There's Republicans and even fucking other Democrats that do the same thing. You know? That want to say like, oh yeah, bro, I'm for the people, I'm for the people. Okay, well, why is it that you don't let your kids to be in public school with all these impoverished kids? Because you know, if you let your kids in these schools, they're going to have a shitty education, right? Yet you don't. You say, no, fuck that. My kids are going to private school.
I agree about the education part, but I disagree about the living amongst them. It doesn't make sense.
No, I'm only saying it if you're the type of person that likes to speak that shit like her. I mean, if you're not that type of person that goes like, oh, bro, I'm with you guys. You know, I'm a part of you guys. I grew up the same way and I live like you guys. But you don't. You don't do that. You don't live that way. As soon as you got a fat paycheck, bro, you move the fuck out. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, because that's what I was be like, dude, I agree with anyone that would fucking
there's nothing wrong with that.
Poverty.
Not at all. There's nothing wrong with that.
But where did she come from?
They say she's lying about where she came from.
I heard she was a nobody.
But they say, okay, she says she grew up in a poor neighborhood. And then it turns out that she actually grew up in an area that was predominantly white. And that she actually went to good schools. So her background of her living in the hood and her growing up in impoverished areas, that it was a crock of shit. It said that supposedly this has been proven. I'm not sure. I haven't done my research on it. I'm just going by word of mouth at this point. So don't quote me on this.
Right.
But they say that her story's full of shit. Except for the part where she was a bartender going to college. You know? So it's like, if you're about it, okay, cool. You know, I agree with that. But if you're not the type that speaks that way and you just have to drive a Tesla or whatever, hey, fuck it, you know? At least you're being honest about it. I feel like, why fake the funk? Why fake the fact that you are one of us or one of the people, but in reality, you don't even associate with them in one bit? You get me? But that's the way I see it. I feel like she should have gotten shit on for that. Because she could have easily bought herself a Camry. A Camry's worth $30,000. She could have gotten a hybrid. And they even have electric Camrys. She got an electric Camry for less money than a Tesla. And been running around all of New York going green. But no. She got herself a Tesla. Because girl wanted to be fancy.
Right. And that's where I got to push back a little bit. That reminds me of the criticism that Ben Shapiro was giving her for the dress. Like, oh my God. You know how fucking Ben Shapiro talks. And he's like,
Ben Shapiro.
He goes, AOC, the person that cares so much about, fucking everyday people, blah, blah, going to a $30,000 event, the Met Gala, wearing a fucking $1,000 dress and the designer dress and all this stuff. And it's like, at what point do you stop caring about what she's standing for, and do you want to just nitpick her personal decisions? Like, for example, the car choice. You said she could have gotten a Camry. She could have. That's true. But then, at what point do you let her have her own, like, autonomy? Okay. Imagine I told you, all right, go fix this problem that you yourself want to fix.
Mm-hmm.
But why are you doing it that way? Why don't you do the way that I want you to fix that problem, even though I don't really care about that problem?
Mm-hmm.
And you'd be like, dude, you don't even care about these people in fucking Brazil that we're going, spending our own money out of pocket to go help feed or whatever. And I'm just like, oh, you think you're so good, you think you're altruistic and stuff like that. Why'd you fly? To be honest, I don't even know what's above coach or whatever. Not first class. Isn't there like an intermediate?
Business class.
Why'd you fly business class? Huh? And you're like,
well, that's partly true. I mean, that's partly true. It's just like, dude, if you want to talk about, like, you flew business because it's only one step below first class, to where you could say, hey, I didn't ride first class. But you were more comfortable than everybody in the back of the plane, weren't you? Why not? Well, you feel like these people are simpletons compared to you? You feel like they shouldn't be entitled to sit next to you? You know, people can make that argument. I'm not making that argument. I'm not making that argument.
Tried, believe me, dude. I heard
they did the same thing with Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
How Bernie Sanders always talks about, like, oh, I fly in public planes, but it turns out, bro, he fucking flies first class, but not first class. He flies in business class, where you still get free food, free drinks, and still fancy.
Fucking Bernie full of shit.
So you're just like, bro, you're full of shit.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, because sometimes I
listen. It's like they talked about. Sorry to interrupt you. He talks about taxing the millionaires, but now that he's a millionaire, he wants to tax the billionaires. So it's like, make up your mind, fool.
Hey, that's true. You know what? On one hand, I'm like, I do want to see other people's criticism and I think to myself, like, some of these are fair, some of these I feel like it's just you're mad at that person. So
I think that is the case with AOC.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not mad at her. I don't give a shit, you know, because that's her paycheck, you know. But the way I see it, I also see it in the point of what people are trying to bitch about, which is partly true. It's just like, dude, instead of spending the money, if you did, because she says that she was given the ticket by that designer, which is possible. It is possible that she was given a ticket. So I'm not even gonna say, nah, that's full of shit. She never got that ticket for free. You think somebody's gonna give her a ticket for free? It is possible, bro. It is possible that designer already had an extra ticket and said, hey, I'm willing to pay for your ticket so you can come model that dress, and I'm even got a table for us. I think that is a possibility. I'm not gonna fucking say, nah, bro, it'll never happen. It is. I definitely think that's a possibility.
Because it's kind of, in my opinion, it's like a crossover of cultures.
Mm-hmm.
The high-end fashion world and the fucking democratic socialist, very popular congresswoman.
I feel like it is. But where I kind of understand is how people think she paid for the ticket, which maybe she did. And if she did, then that argument is valid, where it's like, dude, why'd you spend all that money on something so frivolous? You could have made that same statement not getting into the gala, standing in front of the gala.
It's true.
Taking those pictures. And you could have actually donated that money to an orphanage, to that community you represent, to whatever district you represent. You could have donated it to that community. You're telling me a school couldn't use $30,000? Easy. They could have easily used it. A food bank could have used $30,000.
You fell for my trap because now you're using my wealth for your ideas.
Yeah.
And then the people are like, did I just fucking fall for socialism?
And it's like, that's the way.
And then she fucking drops her dress, wings fucking fly out of her back, and she fucking flies away.
People are going like, holy shit. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's AOC. Fucking vulture looking bitch. And it turns out it's a wig, bro. She's bald.
Oh. But yeah, man, that's what I think about it.
I don't think she should be canceled for it. I honestly, no matter how much I disagree with AOC's shit sometimes, I do not think she should be canceled.
Yeah.
You know, I really don't. I feel like people are right now picking at straws at this point. Where it's like, your arguments aren't really making much sense if you can't back it up. Like, unless there's proof that she paid for that shit. Like, if somehow fucking Project Veritas and James O'Keefe get those fucking records and they say, hey, well, look no further.
If there's one person... Dude, he's like Superman.
Dude, he's Clark Kent, bro.
He's literally Clark Kent.
He's Clark Kent, bro.
That's crazy.
James O'Keefe, you're Clark Kent in real life, bro.
Holy crap.
But instead of working for the Daily Planet, he works for Project Veritas, who owns
his own shit.
So he's actually one step above Clark Kent, because Clark Kent didn't own the Daily Planet. He actually worked for it.
That's true. Pretty impressive there.
Very impressive. But I feel like she shouldn't have been canceled. Or attempted, at least. But that reminds me of what's been happening recently with Chris Pratt. You know who Chris Pratt is?
The actor from... wasn't he in Parks and Rec? And then he like glowed up and he became like a movie superstar in Jurassic Park.
He came out in Jurassic Park, came out in Guardians of the Galaxy.
There you go.
Well, it hasn't been confirmed, but ever since he declined coming to an event in support of Joe Biden, people started saying that he's a conservative, he's a Republican, and he's a blah blah blah, which hasn't been confirmed. Like he himself hasn't said I'm a conservative, but he has always said that he has strong faith. So he is a religious man, which would make you assume he's a conservative, you know? And dude, it got to the point where people are actually posting on Twitter hoping that his character Star-Lord on Guardians of the Galaxy gets killed off on this last movie, so he doesn't have a job anymore.
Yeah, dude. Some of these people are sick.
Like, dude, I don't see anything wrong with you disagreeing with somebody's beliefs and shit like that. But when you actually want to cancel somebody and basically fuck them out of a paycheck, bro, that's just wrong. It's like you being a believer. It's like me attacking you and getting a mob after you to make sure you lose your job, just on the stance that you're a believer. You know, and I make all kinds of fucking dumbass shit when other people could clearly see Jay ain't like that. I mean, Jay, yeah, he believes in God and he has strong faith, but he's not anti-trans or anti-gay or racist, you know? But yet somehow I still manage to make a snowball effect where now I have a mass of people trying to get you fired or trying to make sure you don't get paid. I think that's just fucked up.
Yeah, that would be some bullshit.
It's wrong. I would understand if he himself said something like that. Like if he himself said, hey, fuck the LGBT or all that bullshit. But he hasn't. He's never said anything. He's never spoken bad about them either. Maybe he may not be in support of them. Like he may not agree with that lifestyle. But it's okay.
Right. Like
it's okay to not agree with whatever lifestyle other people have, because that's their choice and that's your choice as well. And that's the beauty of living here. You got the freedom to have that belief, and nobody could take that away from you, not even the government.
True. So
how are we going to be cool with people trying to cancel him for shit like that?
Very
when
weird.
It hasn't even been fucking proven at all. So I was hoping, I've always been in hopes that cancel culture basically goes away, and I feel like it's not going to go away anytime soon, maybe, because I feel like now the right is trying to do the same thing. They're trying to cancel people for dumbass shit. Like,
they fell for that trap.
Yeah, like AOC, bro. You're trying to cancel her for wearing a tax the rich. I mean, if anything, cancel her for wearing a dress that's fucking ugly as shit. I'd cancel for her that. I'd be on board for that. Like, yeah, let's cancel her for wearing an ugly ass fucking Chick-Fil-A dress. You know?
Chick-fil-A.
Which people will be like, and then we'll make that argument. Hey, bro, she's actually sponsored by Chick-fil-A. That's why she wore red and white. Then I'd be like, yeah, bro, that means she's actually against the LGBTQAI plus community. You know? But people are now picking at straws when it comes to that shit too. I mean, it sucks. It really sucks that we're stooping so low from both sides to try to make people lose their jobs and lose their source of income.
You're falling into something very evil because you want to see somebody. Come on, like, how could you possibly want to see somebody? Imagine your everyday, just working class American.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine wanting to wish for that person's income, which you know is their livelihood, to disappear, to be taken from them. That means that something in you wants to see that person worry how they're going to feed their kids, worry how they're going to make ends meet this month, trying to see if, you know, you want to see them jotting down the bills and thinking, okay, well, we could cancel this, we don't need this, I still won't have enough. Kind of tells me that some people want to see that, and to me that's very depraved.
It's like, you got to be real fucked up in the head to be able to do that or want to do that. And it's not just that, like the people that like physically attacking people that don't have the similar beliefs as them. Like, I don't know if you remember about that one spa in LA.
Yeah.
About the transgender that was changing in front of little kids.
Right.
They made a big deal about it. So I actually saw a video a couple days ago that Ab and Preach covered. Shout out to Ab and Preach.
Shout out to Ab and Preach.
And basically people were protesting that thing. And it's funny because Ab and Preach were like, dude, in the video you could see the woman that was recording, which was a black woman, you see a white woman, and you see an Asian woman, all three of them talking shit. And he goes, bro, when you see the Justice League getting together, he goes, to argue the same cause, you know it's real.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's true. But anyways, they ended up, some people ended up going back to that to protest it, to the We Spa. I think it's called We Spa.
It is called We Spa.
And, dude, all these anti-protesters went beating on women.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about being anti-fascist and being pro-women and being pro-this, yet you're beating on women?
It makes no sense.
You being a fucking soy boy incel dude, white knight, yet here you are beating on women because they don't agree with whatever fucking bullshit you agree with?
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense. Then it turns out that the person that was in We Spa, the transgender, has been arrested before for flashing.
Yep.
So it's like, doesn't that let you know maybe they weren't in there to be because they were transgender? Maybe they went in there just so they could flash and expose themselves in front of kids?
Yep.
Because they were arrested prior for exposing themselves at a park in front of kids.
And this is what Antifa and them decided to stand up for.
Yeah. And Preach was like, loophole. And it's true. California made it easy for people just to say, oh, well, I identify as this, so I'm allowed to do this.
Right. As they're doing something creepy.
You know? And I'm not trying to basically say you don't exist. You know? I'm okay with if somebody says, hey, identify as this, I'd be like, okay, I'll refer to you as whatever fucking pronoun you decide to do. But at the same time, you yourself, if you identify as such a thing, you even got to know that there's boundaries. Like me, I identify as a man. Just because I'm a man and my nephew is a man, I still don't feel comfortable changing in front of him, letting him see my dick. Because even then, it's like, bro, it's not right. He's a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't. Although maybe your intention isn't exposing yourself. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's, dude, I'm changing, and he's right there. I'm just gonna change real quick. But still, it's not something they need to see.
Right.
You know? Because I'm pretty sure parents don't even act that way. Or maybe there are some parents that are comfortable with, hey, I'm gonna change, turn around real quick. You know? But like having a kid look at you as you change, they don't have to see that. Especially when it comes from a stranger. If I don't feel comfortable changing in front of my nephew, who's my blood, my flesh and blood, what makes you think I'll feel comfortable with somebody that identifies as a man or a woman changing in front of them, exposing their genitalia to them? You know, even if it was a woman, even if it was fucking Sarah J flashing her tits out, taking off her thong and showing the kitty in front of my nephew, although I'll probably enjoy it, but if my nephew's there, I'll be like, hey, woman, cover that shit. My nephew's here. Cover it. But yet people say, oh, no, it's okay. Really? And I feel like the vast majority of people that say it's okay are people that have never been put in that situation.
Yeah, like they kind of... We'll see you go through this problem. But what's crazier is people that are cool with it happening to you, but they're protective about their kids. Oh, with my kids, not so much, because you know something's up. Yeah. You know something's wrong.
Yeah.
You do have your principles, but you let somebody else go through that problem that you yourself will protect your loved ones from.
Exactly.
That's weird to me.
Exactly.
But that's a good point.
It ain't right. It ain't right. And it just baffles me how some of these dudes that try to claim themselves as virtuous people and white knights and try to virtue signal others are quick to physically attack them and do all kinds of shit, because I don't fucking know what's up with their fucking ass. I don't know what caused them to do that shit. And you really got to check yourself, bro. You really got to evaluate yourself and be like, dude, you really think it's okay for a woman who is protesting somebody exposing themselves in front of children, you think it's okay to beat them up because of that? Like, dude, the video shows some woman who she's holding a sign, and it's a man, not a transgender, not a woman, a man, dude, a young dude going up to her, taking her sign from her, pushing her hard, fool, like shoving the shit out of her, to where she bumps against the wall, rips her shit in front of her, and then takes off her hat, takes away her glasses, and the girl's right there, like the ladies there, looking terrified. Like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, these guys are fucking pricks. Pricks, dude.
It's a trip, dude. It's a trip. I feel like we have a lot of self-reflection to do and self-evaluation
as a country.
To where we got to see, maybe we're getting out of hand with this shit.
Yep.
We're getting way too out of hand with this dumb shit. Honestly. And even with, well, especially here in California, where they give you loopholes to be a fucking pedo and be a flasher.
Yeah.
To where you're cool. But it's weird. It's weird. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Mm-hmm. But have you ever heard of a YouTube channel called Mr. Ballin?
No.
So this guy is really cool ass YouTube channel. He does kind of like mystery stories type of thing, and he'll talk about sometimes true crimes, conspiracy theories, shit like that. Real cool ass channel, dude. Real cool dude. There's a video I watched recently where he talks about a case. So some guy hasn't heard back from his son in days, in weeks. I think it was days, probably. So he calls the police to do a wellness check on him. So the police go do the wellness check on the dude who lives with his fiance or his girlfriend. I'm not sure, but the dad lets him know, like, oh, he lives with his fiance here. You know, I haven't heard from him, and I'm worried. You know, let's check on him. So cops check on him. They're knocking, nothing. No one's opening up. Until finally the dude shows up. He has a fucking black eye in his face, right? He has a big old black eye. He's all busted up in his face, and people are going like, what the fuck happened to him? And he's like, oh, I fell, and I think I hit myself or whatever. And they're like, what the fuck? What's up with this dude? So they're like, hey, we're looking for your girlfriend. Like, where is she? And she's like, oh, he's like, I think she's asleep. And the cops peek over, and through the doorway, they could see the couch, and they could see the girl's feet dangling out. So they're like, you mind if we come in? And at first, the kid's like going like, oh, no, I don't know. Like, he's being like that. Like, I don't know. He's not being super defensive, but he's going like, I don't know. So he's like, come on, just let us in. We want to make sure she's okay. So he goes, okay. Just they let him in. Turns out she's dead. And her body has already gone through decomposition, and she has a fucking bullet in her head.
Oh shit.
So they're like, what the fuck? So they get him, arrest him, take him into jail, and they're interviewing him for hours. I think he was in there for almost 6 hours. They're interviewing him, right? And they're asking him simple questions like, hey, did you ever graduate high school? And he's like, no. He's like, what grade did you make it to? And he goes, I don't know. He's like, come on, man. Like, what grade did you make it to? He goes, 8th, I think. So they ask him for the girl's name. He goes, do you know who she is? She's like, no. He's like, you don't know who she is? He's like, no. He goes, do you have a girlfriend? No. He goes, you don't have a girlfriend. So this girl here isn't your girlfriend. And he's like, no. And then it gets to the point where he gets irritated. He goes, can I just go home? He goes, no, you can't go home. He goes, you can't. He goes, what happened to your face? So he said that the girl hit him. He goes, she hit me in the face. He goes, but it was on accident. And he goes, so did you do something to her? Because she hit you? And he goes, no. And he says a name. I'm going to say Randy. He goes, it was Randy. And he goes, Randy did that to you? He goes, yeah. And he goes, what did he do that? He goes, what do you mean he did that to you? He goes, yeah, him and his dad, they came with guns and they shot me in the face. And he's like, you're telling me somebody shot you in the face? He goes, yeah. He goes, with what? He goes, with revolvers. And he's like, and nothing happened to you? He goes, I don't know. So, like, they're already getting sketched out by the story. They go, this is not making sense. He's trying to say someone shot him in the face. He's right here coherent talking to us.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, what the fuck? And he goes, what did you do to her? He goes, he goes, I don't know. He goes, I don't think I did anything to her. And he's like, can I just go home, please? And he goes, no, you're not going home. But they're tripping on the guy because they're like, dude, what's up with this one? His answers.
That's a very weird answers.
Yeah, you're like, dude, what's up with this guy?
Oh, shit.
So out of nowhere, the cop goes, like, the cop gets close to him when the dude, like, he does this. Like, he fixes himself and leans forward towards the cop. And he's like, can you come here for a second? So the dude leans over to him and he grabs his face and he's like, give me a sec. And he leaves and he comes back with the paramedics. Turns out the dude got shot in the face. Those marks were actually bullet holes. He got shot 3 times in the face. That one bullet went into this side of his face and it went out through his nose. And then another one like hit him at the top of the head, and then another bullet hit him like right here, and it went in through the back of his eye and it was lodged in his brain.
What the fuck, dude?
Yes, and he was coherent. Well, he wasn't really coherent because he didn't know what the fuck he was doing. So it turns out that he had a roommate. He had a roommate living with him and his girlfriend, and that roommate was trying to hit on his girl, and his girl told him about, like, hey, he's been hitting on me, and honestly, I'm not feeling comfortable with it anymore. So he got mad at him. He kicked him out. He goes, hey, dude, get the fuck out. What's wrong with you? So homeboy got mad, and he got in his fifis, so he came back with his dad to go rob the place. So it turns out that when they knocked on the door, homeboy opened the door, and as soon as he opened the door, he got shot in the face 3 times. He fucking fell. The dudes thought he was dead. They went to the girl, shot her, killed her, robbed whatever they're gonna rob, and then left. Well, he was there for who knows how many hours, unconscious, got up, and went to bed. And that he was like that for 3 days, just walking around his house, not knowing what the fuck was going on.
Whoa.
Because of the brain damage, bro. So it turns out that they end up going like, hey, are these, like, they bring in paramedics and they're like, dude, these are entry wounds. And he goes, I thought they were. He goes, we need to get this fool out now. So he ended up getting extensive brain damage because he got no medical attention. Think about it. He was in the police station for over 8 hours with all that fucking blood just rushing into his brain and swelling it up. And fucking it up. But just think about it. This fool almost got charged for murder because he couldn't remember what the fuck happened because he had gotten shot in the fucking face.
That is one of the weirdest stories I've ever heard. Wow, you pieced that one together really well.
Dude, it was crazy. It was fucking crazy. Which sucks, though. At the same time, it's just like, bro, do you call the cops incompetent for not realizing those were entry wounds?
I would want to see that up front. Like, How could? Because
I'll show you the video after.
Yeah.
But you'll see, like, even the pictures, you're like,
How do you miss that?
how do you miss that?
Really?
Yeah. You're like, how do you miss that? Like, the dude had a fucking hole, dude. A hole in his fucking face, a hole in his nose, and another hole, like, right here by his fucking eye socket. But, yeah, it turns out the dude got, like, irreparable brain damage to the point where I think he had to get, he had to have caretakers after that.
You gonna lock him up?
They didn't lock him up. But the weirdest part is, like, how the kid was acting. Like, dude, this fool, he gets into the interview room, and he's just sitting there, and he handcuffs himself to the table. Like, he gets the handcuffs and he just puts it on himself, and he gets up and he's trying to walk away, and he's like, oh shit, like, he realized he handcuffed himself.
Oh my god.
But yeah, he ended up getting irreparable brain damage to where he needed constant care.
Dude, that's a weird freaking story.
It was fucking,
That's one of the weirdest stories I've ever heard, dude.
right? I was like, holy shit. It was good. I was watching that shit and I was like, damn, I gotta admit, this is one of the best stories Mr. Ballin ever said. Shout out to you, Mr. Ballin. That was an amazing video.
Yeah, wow.
But before we change the subject, I really think, I know we haven't done it in a while, we have to give a shout out to the sponsors of the channel, the Goonernator,
Shout out to the Goonernator.
and shout out to the hardest working motherfucker in existence,
Hardest
Alex.
working man ever. Hardest working man ever.
Dude, he's on vacation right now.
At work, I bet.
At work.
I knew it.
Dude, he was supposed to go to Vegas, but instead he said, I'm taking my days off, but I'm still going to work.
I knew
He
it.
brought his girl to work.
I knew it.
So him and his girl right now,
They both clocked in.
they both clocked in on vacation. She don't even work for our company, yet she's working there
Makes sense.
because it's Alex.
Once you know how hard that guy works, dude, you're not surprised by anything.
Nope. And you just have to roll with it. You just have to say, hey, I'm going to follow you.
Yep.
I got you. So shout out to the hardest working motherfucker out there, man. Alex.
Dude, that guy's so hardworking that one time he was like, dude, all right, I just did 5 hours overtime, but I asked for them to pay me half instead of time and a half. He goes, half. Once
Dude.
he went over the 8 hours, he's like, dude, just pay me half.
Dude, he's such a hard worker, bro, that when they offer him sick time, he says, keep it. I don't need it. He don't even take a sick day.
Yeah,
Ever.
true.
That's how much of a hard worker he is. So shout out to you, Alex.
Shout out to you.
Thank you for sponsoring the channel.
Right on.
But you were telling me about you were mentioning it actually about China's attack.
Dude, man. Okay. You know who really did a good video on this?
Who?
Paul Joseph Watson.
Yes, I think.
Shout out to Paul Joseph Watson. I've been hearing about this from like, multiple sources, multiple like fucking, whether it's content creators, whether it's like on Twitter, shit like that. That China culturally, they're having, their Xi's having like his Cultural Revolution 2.0, where he's assessing what's working in China, what's not working in China. We talked about this.
Yeah.
They're fucking kicking people out of private school, making them fucking. What was it that they were doing?
They're forcing them to take blue collar jobs.
Yeah,
So all these people with master's degrees in finance are becoming plumbers.
Yeah, dude. They're limiting. I think they're limiting the amount of people that like can learn English.
Yep.
Because they want Chinese or Mandarin to be like a dominant language. So they don't really want people fucking, like, hey man, not too much English.
Not too much English.
They want fucking. It's just crazy. It's a bunch of stuff that he's enforcing, which is it's insane, right? But one of the things that they're sick and tired of is they call them sissy pants men.
Sissy pants men.
They're tired of effeminate men. Like they're just saying
feminine men.
Effeminate, yeah, like very in touch with their feminine side. Like they literally like sometimes look like man women.
Pretty boys.
Yeah, pretty boys, and they're like, dude, we see what is going on with the West. We can see. You think we want to go down that path?
Fuck.
You think we want to
gonna let you?
So like they're like, fuck the bullshit. Like they're passing all these laws. Like they want young boys to play less video games. They outlawed video games during the week. Now you're only allowed to game on the weekends.
What the fuck? Why?
Because they're like, that shit just makes you fucking like a hermit.
It makes you sterile.
It makes you impotent, you know?
It makes your balls shrivel up.
Dude, who knows, like, how much, you know.
I heard the Chinese game a lot.
Yeah.
Dude, I know they
do.
I know they love to gamble, dude. Like, if you go to, like, any casino, dude, you're going to see Chinese like a motherfucker. Although I'm stereotyping because they're probably not all Chinese. But you see a lot of Asians there.
Yeah.
A lot. So they love to gamble. So I'm pretty sure they love to fucking game.
I'm pretty sure, dude.
That is fucking crazy.
Yeah. They waged the war on fucking video games.
Dude, well, I heard they waged the war also on K-pop.
Yeah. That they're like, we don't want this import.
Which...
Please keep it over there. Like, we don't want this.
Which we had this discussion before when you brought it up, when you were talking about how this food's basically going ass backwards and basically taking China back to the Stone Ages, you know?
That's one way of looking at it.
Because think about it. I did some research, and there's a lot of K-pop singers that are actually Chinese.
Oh, wow.
So they got a big audience in China. And I was reading that I forgot the name of that fucking singer, but he was banned from China. He's not allowed to perform in China. Dude, think about the market, the money you're losing, bro, because you don't want a K-pop singer to go to your fucking country. And not just that, a Chinese national.
Right? This fucking guy is crazy.
Like, bro.
They banned the Chinese national.
They banned a Chinese national from performing in his own country because he's too feminine.
He's too K-poppy.
Too K-poppy. Like, dude, you don't know how much money that could bring.
Yeah.
Like, that is...
I hear BTS is the shit.
It's the fucking shit. Bangtan Sonyeondan.
Exactly.
That's the shit right there.
And for them to say...
My favorite dude is V.
Okay. Right on. But for them to say, yeah, we see the money on the table. Keep it. Because we see what all this shit is doing to the West.
But it's stupid.
For like on a cultural aspect, they see us like very... they see us on the collapse. You know?
I could see that, but at the same time, it's untrue. It's untrue. Because I'm deviating a little bit, but there's this YouTube channel called Best Food Review Show, and the guy, the host's name is Sunny, and he was in Minnesota, and he was in a Somali restaurant, and it's owned by Somali immigrants. They're from East Africa, and they were asking like, hey, you know, like, what do you think about starting a business here in America? And she's like, honestly, she goes, in Somalia, women aren't allowed to own a business. She's like, they're not allowed to make money. They're not allowed to basically work. Like, they have to do it like low key to earn a living if they're single mothers. And she's like, she goes, the only thing I had to get used to here was the food regulations. She goes, the U.S. is very strict on the regulations they have on food and what they feed people. And she goes, which I understand. And she's like, but she goes, I had the opportunity to own a business here in this country. She goes, something I would never be able to have in Somalia. So even this immigrant knows, like, dude, you could say what you want, but this country gave me the opportunity to be a business owner and do something that I always wanted to do. You know, which isn't the case in China. I've read, I don't know if it's true, that, like, people that aren't nationals, they're not necessarily allowed to own a business in China. Like, you're allowed to operate a business, but that it's heavily regulated by the Chinese government.
Mm-hmm.
More regulated than, like, a Chinese business.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that they get to pick, like, basically where your business goes in a sense. Like, okay, well, you're only allowed to sell to this area. You're not allowed to sell anywhere else. If you want to, you got to pay extra. You got to do. I don't know if that's true.
Sounds like it's true.
But that's what I've read. And it's like, I could see where people might make that argument, like, oh, bro, fucking the U.S. is going to shit. But at the same time, look at all these immigrant business owners.
Mm-hmm.
That all they say is praise the U.S. about the great opportunities they've been able to have ever since they moved here. And that's what China's fucking up on. Like, if China became a little bit more free and didn't get so strict when it came to that, I feel like they could potentially beat us. Like if they didn't get in that whole bullshit about, sissy pants man, like dude, they'd be making a killing, dude, with all the fucking different K-pop groups that would go over there and perform. But they're screwing themselves out of money.
I think they're choosing principle over money, whether we disagree with it or not.
Do you think it's right though? Like, do you agree with it or disagree with it? Or what's your view on it?
I think they're onto something, because like one of the principal things they're doing it is we want to reinforce masculinity. We see where good masculinity can work out for a society, and we see where weak or lack of masculinity can be one of the shaky pillars for a collapse.
I can see that.
It's said that they're gonna go very hard on young men doing more physical training. Do you remember?
They're trying to start a super soldier program?
Dude, they've probably been on that shit.
They're trying to make little Captain Americas?
Yeah.
They're going to come out with fucking videos of them fucking throwing shields, bro.
But if you think about it and you ask yourself, what is going to happen to the West, or what's going to happen to America if we go down? You mentioned something about immigrants, coming here, seeing the financial freedom, about like, starting your own and attaining prosperity. That's one thing.
Yeah.
But I'm saying as years go by, how do you feel about the sense of masculinity in this country, and the sense of femininity?
I feel like
if I'm even saying that right, femininity.
I feel like masculinity is being attacked. I do think that, and at the same time, I feel like a lot of men are letting themselves. Like a lot of men are allowing that shit to happen, where they just would prefer to not express their masculinity, either because they don't want to, or to avoid any type of conflict or pushback from anybody, which I kind of get. But like me personally, I'm proud of it. I'm proud of my masculinity. I'm proud of being a man, and I love expressing it every chance I get. And I would love to be able to help people that want to get in touch with that side, because although some people see it as a negative, it's actually a positive. No straight woman wants to date a sensitive ass pansy,
a sissy pants
man. Nobody does. Like, we've had discussion before, like, no woman wants to use your nuts as a coin purse.
Exactly.
Nobody. Once you do that, bro, there's no respect after that. Like, once you simp yourself, once you let yourself become a simp to your own woman or spouse or whatever, there's no respect after that. They're gonna see you like, you fucking pathetic piece of shit. I hate you. I hate you for not being a man.
Yep.
I hate you for not telling me to shut the fuck up every once in a while. Not saying you should,
right?
But like, a figure of speech, like, I hate you for not being able to check me when I need to be checked.
Right.
Because some women admit to it. Like, this isn't made up.
I've heard it. Yeah, I've heard it.
Some women admit to it that they like not getting overpowered by a man, but being like kind of like put on check, like put on their place. Like, it's like, hey, like, they're not telling me they're above me, but they're checking me. Like, hey, let's remember, I'm the dude in the relationship. I know my place. Know yours.
Yeah, dude, I remember seeing a video of like Italian women, beautiful Italian women. Dude, shout out to Italy, dude.
Shout out to Italy.
They got nice cars, good food,
Vespas,
all that stuff. Cool place. And these two women were saying like, dude, we hate like what this insane level of feminism did. Why? Because now the men don't even hit on women. They don't pick up on women. There's no longer that sense of conqueror trying to find a good woman for himself. Now it's kind of like, who asks who out? Who makes the first move?
Can I say hi?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
And that's not just with relationship. Well, I mean, it is relationship, but sex. Dude, I've seen videos of women complaining about how some men they sleep with are raging pussies, in the sense that they'll be like, "Oh, is this okay? Do you mind if I grab your ass? Oh, did I squeeze your ass too hard?" You know, when some women go like, "Bro, slap the shit out of it. Slap the shit out of it and grab it like if you're stealing bread." You know?
Yeah.
And it's like,
like if you're stealing bread.
you know, and it's just like, that's what I saw in the video. But and it's like, dude, and like some women on the video going like, "Bro, fucking," you know, like they get graphic. I'm not making this shit up. Like they get graphic, like, you know, "I want to be fucking dominated, you know, fucking choke me, slap me." And it's like, but I can't get that from a man anymore because they're too fucking pussies. Because they're scared, like, "Oh, is this okay?" And then, like, one thing I saw about some girl that was interviewed, she goes, "The one thing I fucking hate," she goes, "I fucking hate that I've had to go through when it comes to some men that I've been recently, like, that I've slept with in the recent past, is after sex, they ask me, 'Are you okay?'" Like, what the fuck? Am I okay? What the fuck you think this was? Like, what the fuck? You abused me?
And this is like a tornado, or
Yeah, like, what the fuck? And it's like, and yeah, a lot of women are suffering from dry vag. Because they got dudes that are just fucking, you know, little bitches.
And you see, I think China sees that and they're like, "Ah, hell no,
They
bro.
say, fuck that.
Fuck that.
You got me fucked up."
Nope, not over here."
Well, yeah, now they're doing, did you see that they're giving incentives to people that are having more kids now?
Yeah,
They want everybody fucking.
they want people. They want people to be fruitful and multiply. You know. But yeah, man, but anybody, you guys need to check out a video by Paul Joseph Watson that was about the topic of China declaring war on their sissy pants, man. He goes in onto it.
Great detail also.
Yeah, in depth, great detail, better than we just did. Paul Joseph Watson, check his stuff out. Pretty cool guy.
Rare cool guy. Still on the topic of China. Have you ever heard of China's ghost castles?
I heard of their ghost cities.
Okay, so it's basically the same concept. So NHK World Japan recently came out with a documentary on it. They came out with it yesterday. And I was actually on the eye for it because they came out with a little teaser like a couple weeks ago. And I was like, "Oh, bro, I got to watch this shit." But, okay, so basically what China has been doing is they've been making a lot of ghost castles. So ghost castles are these humongous unfinished buildings, apartment complexes, right? That the local government, basically what the local government has done is they sold use of the land, because the government owns the land either way, but they sell use of the land to developers or to people. Like they'll say, "Hey, we'll sell you the rights to be able to use the land. It's not yours, but we're letting you use it." So all these developers have been paying like exorbitant amounts of money to local Chinese governments. And what a coincidence, the biggest place where there's a lot of these ghost castles is in Wuhan.
Why do you say what a coincidence? No, I want to hear.
What recently happened in Wuhan?
The virus.
Exactly. That's why.
Keep going.
What a coincidence that they bring up Wuhan as one, the leading contributor for fucking coronavirus, and on top of that, the one place where there's a bunch of these places where people are getting fucked over. The reason why I say they're getting fucked over is because if you want an apartment there, you have to pay first before it gets completed. So let's say you say, "Hey, you know, I see you guys developing this building. I want to buy an apartment." Okay, cool. Well, you have to pay now. And that they go for up to $65,000 an apartment. 65,000, and that they're only 7.9 meters big. So I'm assuming I don't know how many I don't know how many
neither.
7.9 meters, but I'm assuming it's maybe what, like 1,200 square feet. Maybe like
Your guess with that is as good as mine.
I'm assuming it's like a little house.
Yeah,
Like a 1 bedroom, maybe two. We'll say a two.
2 bedroom.
2 bedroom. So a lot of people have been buying these apartments, but right when the building is already built and the walls are up, everything else gets left there. So they don't finish the walls, like they don't finish putting tile or drywall or electricity or even water, bro. Even water. So there's people that are actually living in these empty apartments that have to haul their water from other places. Mind you, these shits are like 60 floors high. Some people, what they've done is they gotten together as a community, pooled in money to at least make the elevators functional.
Damn.
And then your question is, well, if they didn't run any electricity, how did they make it functional? They actually illegally purchase electricity from homes nearby. So whatever homeowner that's by there or business that's next to those areas, they say, hey, we'll sell you electricity, but you got to pay 3 times the amount. So people are getting fucked. People are getting fucked by these. One thing that I was also that I've also been seeing is that some of these buildings have up to 230 plus housing units. So over 230 apartments in those buildings. And up to 80% of those apartment units are already sold in each of those ghost castles. So let's say you're expecting, okay, I already bought this nice apartment, I'm good to go, we're gonna move in. Then when it's time to move in, you find out, dude, this shit's not even done.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Then you go look for the developer in their office, and the office is gone. And you're like, dude, what the fuck's going on? You know? So another thing I was seeing is that fucking in some of those places, a lot of people have been evicted from their own apartments because those same developers sold that apartment to somebody else. So like, let's say I bought the apartment, right? I was the first purchaser of the apartment. I see it still wasn't built, and I said, fuck this, I'm not going to be living in this place. I'm out. So the developer saw that I haven't moved in. Then they'll say, hey, Jay, we got this apartment here for sale. Do you want it? You say, yeah, I want it, and I think it's affordable. I have the money for it. I'll buy it. You buy it, but what they do is they give the buyer, the new buyer, a fake receipt. So a receipt basically that isn't a proof of purchase. So they'll do that. So basically they'll sell that apartment. They sell it to you, right? And then right after they sold it to you, they sell it to Butters, the same apartment building, the same apartment. So you're about to move in. Butters comes and says, hey, dude, I just bought this shit. And fuck you, I got the receipt here. Oh, no, fuck you, I got the receipt here. Then I come in and say, hey, fuck both of you, I got the actual deed.
Yeah.
And then you're like, wait, what?
Dude, that's a lot of swindling, man.
Like, dude, it's been getting crazy with these. And that it's a common thing. That there's so many ghost castles out in China right now. But predominantly in Wuhan, where a vast majority of those buildings have already been purchased. And people are just living in those slums. Like, there was a story about some dude in that same documentary. He worked, like, what he says, he goes, I worked my hands to the bone. He goes, to save up money so I could buy my son a home so we could take his wife and start a family there. And he goes, but look at this. He goes, look at this house. It's unlivable. And it sucked because his son was actually engaged. And his son talks about how, you know, he told him, oh, my dad bought us a house, we're ready to move in. And then once she saw it was a ghost castle, she left his ass.
Damn.
So they're interviewing the son. He goes, so what's your plan? You know, once your dad finishes the house, he goes, I'm not going to fucking live here. He goes, how do you want me to live in a finished house that has no electricity? He goes, it has no water. How am I supposed to live in this? And he goes, fuck that. He's like, I'm going to go protest. And he goes, what are you going to protest for? He goes, I'm ask the government to give me a new girlfriend.
Oh, dude.
He's like, because he goes, if it wasn't for this fucking ghost castle, he goes, my girlfriend wouldn't have left me. Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy. But it got to the point how now, like, the local residents of some of those buildings started unions. So those unions have representatives. So they leave somebody in charge where what you do is basically you look out for the other people living in the building. You see how you got to do daily checks. I did daily runs where they go through the whole building, checking on people and shit like that. But then your job also as a union rep is for you to constantly contact the developers and seek answers. Another thing is that they did was those union leaders got together and actually protested. They went to their local government buildings and started protesting, dude. And as they were protesting, the cops got there and they said some shit. Bro, I quote, the dude says, sit-ins, shouting, signs of any kind, firecrackers, self-harm, and suicides are illegal.
What the fuck?
Like, think about it. How bad these people are protesting that they have to make suicides illegal when it comes to protesting.
Yeah.
And they ended up arresting a lot of these people. And one of those union reps, who was a woman, like, she talks about how she's like, dude, this is horrible. And they're like, why? She goes, although I was arrested and released, this stays on my record. And now my social credit score dropped. And if I keep this up, they're going to classify me an enemy of the state. And you won't see me again.
Enemy of the state?
Because you're constantly protesting the government.
Dude, you got to play it really smart if you want to be vocal over there. You know?
Like, dude, it got so bad that they're finding out that these developers are actually bribing the local government, which isn't a surprise.
I was about to say, are you shocked?
I mean, it's not a surprise. Obviously, you think the local government would let you leave the fucking building unfinished if you weren't paying them? You know? They'd be like, no. We know you sold that same apartment
3
to
times.
3 motherfuckers. Give us 2 of those.
Yeah.
All right, bitch. Give us 2 of those, and then we'll forget about it. But it's crazy how people are suffering because of that. And that same man that bought that house for his son, who was supposed to get married, he was still trying to fix the house or whatever. He ended up fixing the house. And after he finished fixing the house, he tried calling his son. And his son lost contact with him. He didn't want to talk to his dad anymore. Because his son kept telling him, like, dude, forget that fucking house. Like, the house isn't worth it anymore. I'm not going to take that house. It's unlivable. I'm not going to live in it. Forget about that house. And his dad wouldn't listen. His dad would be like, no, I need to finish it for you so you can get married and have something for her. It's very sad to see that. It's very sad how, like, the guy goes, he goes, my son doesn't answer his phone anymore. And they asked him, like, where do you, why don't you go see him? He goes, I don't know where he lives. He moved. Like, he became estranged from his son because of that. Like, it's fucking horrible, dude.
It's fucking horrible.
Like, it's crazy how...
You said this was a documentary?
This documentary by NHK World Japan.
Where can I find this?
NHK World Japan.
Oh, that's the website?
Yeah, their website.
NHK
World Japan. Just look up China's ghost castles. It's a pretty lengthy documentary. It's about like 50 minutes. But it's very jaw-dropping and eye-opening. Like, how you really see how bad the government actually fucks its citizens. Because, dude, let's be honest. I think anywhere else in the world, well, for the most part, most places in the world, maybe not all, won't let people live like that. At all. Here in the U.S., at least not. Even in Canada, they won't let people live like that. Yet, the Chinese government says, hey, fuck them.
We're getting paid.
We got paid already, though.
Yeah, dude.
We cashed that check months ago.
That's insane. I want to watch that, actually.
It's very eye-opening, dude, and it's very interesting. But it sucks how some of these people got fucked that bad. Where it's like, dude, you got like what people started doing now, like the first time buyers of those properties, just to make sure that people don't fall for the trap of getting that same apartment sold to them. They've actually written like a
Sold.
spray paint on the walls of that apartment, like, oh, sold to blue blue bloop on date blue blue bloop, and then they'll even put like the receipt number or whatever, so people know like, hey, this shit's been sold already. This shit's already owned. It's crazy. Like there was one about some dude who purchased. They sold him a floor unit, which was basically on the first floor. They sold him that unit. He fixed it up. He had it working in pristine condition. Then he got evicted by the tenants. The tenants kicked him out because they said that room was supposed to be a community room, and that he wasn't supposed to live there. So they kicked him out. And this fool like still lives in that same building, but he lives on the top. And then like the anger you hear in his voice, because he goes, I'm gonna drag them all to hell with me when I die. He goes, they kicked me out of my home. And people keep arguing, like, dude, nobody told you to fix that house. We told you this wasn't yours, and you still fixed it anyways after we told you multiple times not to fix it. Like, they interview a lot of tenants, and all the tenants say the same thing, like, dude, he's crazy. He was never sold that unit. That unit was supposed to be a community room. We don't know why he fixed it. He wasn't supposed to fix it, yet he still fixed it. He goes, that's not our fault. It's his fault. But like the anger and hate in his fucking voice, because he goes,
I'm gonna drag them to hell.
I'm gonna drag them all to hell with me. He goes, like it's shocking. It's shocking how people could change when they get fucked over, you know. And I don't blame him.
I don't blame him either.
I don't blame him for being that angry, you know. One, because he got fucked by the government. Two, he got fucked by the tenants, you know, the people of his community.
Yeah.
And they kicked him out and they said, hey, we like this spot. We're going to like to kick it in the spot too, bro. So you're going to have to kick rocks.
Yeah, dude, that's disgusting how they did him.
They did him super dirty. It's sad. It's sad, but I really recommend people to watch that documentary.
I'm going to check it out.
It was super dope. I really dig it. It was awesome.
I think that's a good place to end it.
I agree with you there, my good sir.
I'm going to watch that fucking documentary, man.
Yeah, I recommend you do. I recommend everybody else to. And if you guys enjoyed this episode, let us know in the comment section. We appreciate the new subscribers. We've been getting more subscribers slowly but surely. We appreciate our constant viewers who have been viewing us since day one. We appreciate you guys dearly as well. Keep it up. As always, if you liked it, like, comment, share, subscribe, and let us know what you guys think. If you agreed with us or disagreed with us. But we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.